You like chess? Today we're going to talk about the chessboard killer, Alexander Pichushkin.
We here at Angry Me Production want to thank our sponsor, Mobile Notary Mindy. She's certified with the National Notary Association. She's also bonded and E&O insured. She offers a wide range of services including wills, powers of attorney, medical documents, healthcare proxies, living wills, certification of trust, assignment of personal property, HIPAA waivers, advanced healthcare directives, and 99 verification. You can find her on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram at Mobile Notary Mindy. You can also visit her webpage at texasmobilenotarymindy.com. That's TX, mobilenotarymindy.com. Thank you so much and enjoy the show.
Ladies and gentlemen of all ages, boys and girls, thank you for tuning in to yet another episode of Angry Me Production. We appreciate you coming in and letting us be a part of your lives, week in and week out. We hope to do our best to present you with something that your eardrums delight in. Whether you're looking at us on YouTube or Rumble, or listening to us on Spotify, Google, or Anchor, or any of the other podcast services that we are currently on or trying to get on, we thank you. And if you don't mind, at the end of every episode, stop by, leave us a comment, leave us a like. If it asks for 5 stars, we'll take 5 stars, even if you don't like us. 5 stars are what it's all about. With that being said, we hope you enjoy our attempt to make our advocation our vocation. Ladies and gentlemen, let the games begin.
Welcome, Angry Faithful. Today, yes, we are going to talk. We're going to go to Russia this time, and we're going to talk about Alexander Pichushkin. It's Russian, so I don't know. So let's go ahead. This is going to be one of those Stephen Hawking ones because a lot of the stuff in here, yeah, it's in Russian. So Alexander Pichushkin was born on April 9th, 1974 in Mystic, Stephen. We're just going to Stephen Hawking all these words. Stephen Hawking, still from the grave. He's giving us his words of wisdom.
Mitushki,
Moscow, Oblast, Russian, SF, Soviet Union. And he grew up on, God, this is going to be, Stephen Hawking's basically going to do this whole thing.
Khersanskaya,
2 Karskaya Street in Moscow proper. He lived there with his mother, Natalia. I'm not even going to even try to his last name. And his younger sister, her husband, and their son in a 2-bedroom apartment on the 5th floor. Now, these apartments are notorious in Russia. They house like close to like 15 people because, communism, no money. Their apartment built, unless you actually worked for the Communist Party, then you end up with lots of money. Weird. Their apartment building was 6 minutes walk from the Norsk Obelisk Park. Alexander is remembered to have been initially a sociable child. However, this changed following an incident in which Alexander fell backwards off of a swing, which then struck his forehead as it swung backwards. Which, if you don't know, a lot of people that have head injuries, they end up it's something weird when the injury just flips the wrong switch, or just flips the switch to where a lot of stuff is jumbled up in your head. Most notorious are Roseanne Barr and Sam Kinison. Sam Kinison is a big one. If you look that up, he really he got hit by a car, and so did Roseanne. Roseanne is the worst case too. She spent time in from what they said, the mental institution. She had to relearn everything from when she got hit by that car, and it does something to the head to where it messes. I mean, Sam Kinison was a minister before he got, and he ended up becoming a comedian. So, but let's begin. Restart this. Experts speculate that the events damaged the frontal cortex of Alexander's brain. Such damage is known to produce poor impulse relations and a tendency towards aggression. Since Perkinson was still a child, the damage would have been more severe, as a child's forehead provides only a fraction of the protections for a brain compared to an adult. Following these accidents, Perkinson frequently became hostile and impulsive. Like I said, an injury does that to a person. Due to his behavior, Alexander's mother decided to transfer him to a mainstream school. He has been attending for one for children for learning disabilities. Prior to this transfer, children from the mainstream school were known to have physically or verbally bullied Alexander, referring him as that retard. This abuse served to intensify Alexander's anger upon reaching early adolescence. His maternal grandfather recognized that Alexander was highly intelligent and felt that his innate talents were being wasted, as he wasn't involved in any activities at home, and the school had been enrolling in forced more overcoming disabilities than the promoting of achievements. Basically, they were trying to have him overcome his rage and everything instead of promoting him to be a little bit better person or more intelligent person. It's a strange thing when you have like a high intelligence, but parts of your brain is actually crushing it to the point to where you can't understand why. Alexander moved in with his grandfather's home and was encouraged to pursue intellectual pursuits outside of school. The deepest of these interests was chess. Alexander was taught how to play, and after demonstrating his ability to introduce and exhibit games against elderly men who played publicly at the Ballista Park, an outstanding chess player, Alexander found a channel for his aggression when dominating the chessboard for all of his games. However, he continued to be bullied by mainstream school children and suffered an emotional blow then. Towards the end of his adolescence, his grandfather died, and Alexander was left to return to his mother's home, after which he enrolled as a student. According to reports, the death of his grandfather greatly affected Alexander in the effort to both dull the pain of the loss as well as to claim a severe aggressive tendencies. He began to consume large quantities of vodka. He continued to play chess both at home and in Balisk Park, now joining the other men in drinking vodka. Though unlike them, he would play without being greatly affected by the alcohol. It was at this time that Alexander began to develop more sinister hobbies that, at the time, remained unknown to anyone. However, he knew he was going to come in contact with children. He would take a video camera alongside and proceeded to threaten them. On one occasion, he that has since been made public, he held a young child by one leg out upside down and said to the camera, "You are in my power now. I am going to drop you from a window, and you will fall 15 meters to your death." He would then watch these videos repeatedly to reaffirm his power. However, by 1992, this practice became influential to satisfy his insignificant to satisfy his urges. Russian media has speculated that Alexander was motivated in part by a macabre competition with other notorious Russian serial killers, Andrei Stephen Hawking. Oh, I think I did. Yes, I did a episode on him.
Chikatilo.
Andrei Chakalo. If you look back, he was the butcher of Rostomov's Reaper. He was and he sexually assaulted, murdered, and mutilated at least 52 women and children between 1978 and 1990. I did an episode on him, and if you just look back, want to, curious, go check that out. If not, look him up. He was actually, it was so weird, but I digress. Who was convinced of killing 52 children and young women over the 20-year period. Alexander was said his aim was to kill 64 people. The numbers were squared on a chessboard. He later recanted this statement, saying that he would have continued killing indefinitely if he had not been stopped. Now, his first victim, Alexander's first murder occurred in July 27th, 1992, when he was at the age of 18. Alexander arranged to meet with his classmate, Mikhail Voltuch. I wonder if I got that right. Hold on. Olechuk. In Bolstead Park to joint hatch a plan to kill 64 people. However, when they had arrived at the meeting point, Mikhail challenged his mind and told Alexander that he would no longer wanted to take part in the action. Feeling teased by his best friend, Alexander strangled him and threw his body in a sewer entrance at Ballista Park. Then returned to his mother's apartment a short distance away. The body was never found. After Mikhail's disappearance, Moscow's police opened an investigation. Witness testimony provided the piece that stated that Mikhail had been last seen with Alexander walking in the direction of the park. Alexander was arrested at his mother's home on July 30th and taken to Moscow's police station for questioning. When asked about the schedule of the day of Mikhail's disappearance, Alexander confirmed having met with Mikhail, but claimed that he left unharmed in the park. With no evidence trying him to the disappearance, Alexander was released. Alexander ceased killing for several years until 1996, when Russian placed a memoriam on the death penalty. What? Oh, a delay on death penalty. This resigns Alexander's killing. The sewer period. In May 17th, 2001, Alexander was in Ballista. I don't know if I'm saying this right. Bitsa. I think it's Bitsa.
Bitsa.
Bitsa Park playing chess with 52-year-old man named Good Lord Russian. Okay, hold on.
Yevgeny Pronin.
At the end, I don't know why I can do the accent. I just can't do the words. At the end of the game, Alexander invited Pronin to take a walk with him, claiming that it was an anniversary of his dog's death and he wanted to visit the grave in Bitsa Park. Pronin accompanied him to an isolated in Bitsa Park, whereupon Alexander pulled out a bottle of vodka and offered him the drink. The man made a toast to the dog, after which Alexander struck Pronin in the head with the bottle. Once Pronin was dead, Alexander threw his body in the nearby well. Between May 2001 and September 2005, Alexander attacked 36 victims. 3 of the victims survived their energy. Alexander would approach his victims in Ballista Park. Majority of them elderly, homeless people, offered them a share of vodka and then killed him, typically by shaking the back of their skull with a striking the back of the skull with a hammer or a bottle. Although he was also alleged to have pushed his victims into the Suez Canal to drown. Occasionally, he would then sign the corpse by impaling the victim's skull with a stick or or an empty vodka bottle. It's kind of strange. I mean, pulling a Vlad the Impaler, which he was another guy. I know. I'm getting off track again, but that's the fun with me. Vlad the Impaler, him doing this. You read about Vlad the Impaler and how horrible he was. He was the Bram Stoker's account for Dracula. But here's the thing about Vlad the Impaler in Romania, where all this happened. He's actually a folk hero because of all the stuff that he did when for against the Persians. So it's you. Anytime you speak ill about Vlad, it's weird in there. So back to his arrest. He was arrested in June 2006. Alexander offered to go for a walk with a 36-year-old co-worker, Maria Molkovich. Moskova. Yeah, Moskova.
Moscow.
I was totally wrong. Anyways, though she was reportedly suspicious, though she reportedly suspicious of him, Marina. Oh, okay, so I had her out. Maria agreed to go before. Okay, let's backtrack. Though she was reportedly suspicious of him, Maria agreed to go. Before she left, she wrote a note to her son, letting him know that she was with Alexander and left the phone number. Alexander was aware of the note, but was unhindered. Maria's body was discovered in Blitz Park in June 14th, 2006, completed with Alexander's trademark injuries. The Moscow Metro ticket found in her possession led the authorities to review surveillance tapes footage from the Metro system, where she had been filmed just hours before her death, walking onto the platform accompanied from Alexander. Once apprehended, Alexander led police officers to the scene of many of his crimes in Blista Park and demonstrated a keen recollection of how the murders were committed. He was filmed reenacting his crimes in great detail, a process which is a regular part of Russia's criminal investigation. Which, that's actually pretty intelligent with that. I mean, if they're actually going with the whole details of where everything is and what's happening, and they're basically making the thing a little bit easier for I guess they have judges. I'm hoping they have judges. Moscow, so. Alexander also revealed that some of the murders he had committed were not done using his preferred method, hammer blows to the back of the head, but by throwing his victims down to the sewer lines beneath the Blista Park. Although one of his victims did survive the ordeal, Alexander claimed that deciding whether his victims should live or die made him feel like a god. In all cases, I killed for only one reason. I was a killer. I killed in order to live, because when you kill, you want to live, he once said. For me, life without murder is like life without food for you. I felt like the father of all these people, since it was me who opened the door for them to the other world. Yeah, weird. Alexander was convicted on October 24th, 2007 for 49 murders and attempted murders. He asked Russian courts to add an additional 7 victims to his body count, bringing the claim to a total of 60 and 3 surviving victims. During his trial, Alexander was housed in a glass cage for his own protection. Upon conviction, Judge Vladimir Usov, Stephen Hawking, come on,
Yusov.
sentenced Alexander to life imprisonment. With first 15 years spent in solitary confinement, Alexander pleaded his sentence, claiming it was too harsh for asking for a reduced sentence, reduction to 25 years. As of 2017, Alexander spent his day in solitary confinement in a Arctic penal colony, the Polar Owl, which federal government institution, penal colony number 18 of Federal Penitentiary Services of Russia, and Ukomnet Anonymous Orgus, commonly known as the Polar Owl, is a Russian prison located on the banks of Sab River near Polar Yarsa in Krupt urban type settlement. So, anyways, that's about it for the chessboard killer. Now, letting everybody know we're gonna try some different stuff. It's nothing gonna be like change, but next week, me and the crew going NASCAR. So, check us out. We're gonna try to do a couple of episodes there, probably afterwards, and we're gonna have fun. And everybody, thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching. Goodbye.